Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I'm going to show you how to make some bows. I learned how to do these when I was a floral designer, and I did it for 6 years, and it's just second nature to me, but I realized that a lot of people have never made bows. So I'm going to show you how I've learned to make these so that you can do them too. This is the 5-minute bow, and it all depends on what kind of ribbon you use to give it a different look. This is a real thin see-through one, and there's a 2.5-inch wide ribbon, and it's going to give you a different look depending on what ribbon you use. And I always try to use a wired ribbon because I can make these in advance and I can pack them away, and if they get flattened out, using wire just lets them open up. So the first one is going to be the 5-minute bow, and I'm going to do a total of 4 for this video, and then I'm going to finish up my bows with the next one because I don't want this to go on forever. So if you want to learn how to do these, stay tuned. They're coming up next. Okay, this bow is what I call the 5-minute bow because it takes 5 minutes or under to make it. I learned how to do this years and years ago when I was a floral designer, and we used to have to make bows for the customers for arrangements, for their packages, whatever. And you learned how to make these in a hurry. What you need is at least 3 yards of ribbon. Wired edge is the best. The chenille stem, and a pair of scissors. And that's all you need. Okay, first thing you want to do is make a little loop. And then you want to twist your ribbon. And with this kind of ribbon, it really doesn't matter, but if you had the two-sided ribbon, you always want to keep the same side up. So you want to bring your next loop up, and you want to get it to be about the same size as your center loop, and twist. And depending on how much ribbon you have, how big you need this, you can just keep going to town. This is actually easier if you drop it on the floor. And you want to make these the same size as the center one. And now you have a total of 5, 2 on each side of your center loop. Okay, you're going to twist it again, and you're going to bring the next one up, and it's going to be a little longer. Not too much longer, but a little longer. And you can feel the difference. You can see the difference. That's funny. Every time I make a bow, I think of my friend Chrissy, because she really loves bows, and she always said, "Oh, I want to learn how to make them." And I've had a bow tutorial up for years, and I honestly don't know if she's ever watched it. Okay, there's your 2 smaller ones, 2 larger ones. And I'm going to bring one more up, so that gives me your center bow, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And like I said, you can keep adding to this, making these longer and longer, and it'll just make it fuller, and depending on how wide your ribbon is, it'll give it a whole totally different look. Okay, now I have 5 on each side, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your center bow. Now what I'm going to do is, of course, you always twist after you bring it under. I'm going to make a huge loop. And what this is going to be is your tails. This is all one big piece. I'm going to cut off the excess and bring this chenille stem in. And I'm going to twist. And I'm going to twist tightly. Okay. And you want to keep this nice and long, because this is what you're going to use to attach to your arrangements or your wreaths or whatever it is that you're going to use this bow for. Okay, there's your center loop, and you're going to come into the next two and pull to the side. You're going to leave this one in the center, and your last two pull to the side. Turn it over, and you're going to repeat the same thing. These two pull to the side, leave this one in the center, and the last two pull to the side. Now your tails, I have it folded in half, and I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to come from the fold to the outside, and that gives you your dovetail. And a dovetail ribbon at the end always gives it a more professional look, and I don't know what it is about it, but it really does make a difference. So since this is wired, you can fluff it up as much as you want, and you can twist it and play with it. You can make bunches of these and put them aside for the next time you need them, because if they get flattened, you just raise them back up. So that is a 5-minute bow. And you can see that it didn't take long to make this. It's not even 5 minutes. And I would go a whole lot faster if I wasn't talking in between. But yeah. There's your bow. This is a really easy one to make. And this is another one only going to take you a couple minutes. Okay, this one you want to cut ribbon in different sizes. And I'll put it right there. You want one at 4.5 inches long, one at 6.5 inches long, two at 12 inches long, one at 14 inches long, one at 18 inches long, and you need a hot glue gun. And there's your 18, there's your 14, there's your 12, there's your other 12, you want to keep that one separate. And there's your 6.5 and the 4.5. And the first thing you're going to do is make loops out of all of these. And you're just going to put a little bit of glue right here to hold it together. And you're going to repeat that with all of them. Okay, there's your 12 inch, and we're going to keep this little tiny 4.5 inch separate. And what we're going to do is dovetail the ends. And that's fold that in half, fold it in half this way, start at the fold and work your way out to the outside. And there's your dovetails. Okay, we're going to put that down, and now this large 18 inch, I'm going to lay that on top, and then the 14 inch, and the 12 inch, and you want to keep the part that you glued in the center. And there's the 6.5 inch And they do look awfully tiny once you get them folded in half. But these you're flattening out. This one is your center loop. And you've got this 4.5 inch one, and we're going to put that right in the center. And add some hot glue. And I try to use wired ribbon as often as I can, just because, I mean, you can see how I'm flattening this out. And with the wire, it's going to fluff right back up. And once you have it all adjusted, let's put a little dollop of glue inside there. Now you can fluff your little loops up. And these really do look so nice on large packages, especially if you put them up in a corner. And there you go. That's your second bow, ready to be put on a package. And I have these all adjusted the way I want them. Just going to put a little tiny bit of glue. Now I know it's not going to go anywhere. Making the classic shoe bow is just the easiest thing in the world. It's just cutting 2 pieces of ribbon and gluing them in place. Okay, this one needs 30 inches of ribbon. And then you want another piece that's about maybe 6 inches, if even. It's another super simple bow. Fold this in half to get the center. And I'm going to dovetail the ends before I start playing with it. You don't have to dovetail if you don't want to. I mean, to cut them at an angle is fine, or even a point. I just always learned that the dovetail gives it a professional look. Okay, there's your ends, and there's your center. Lay that down there, and we're going to just roll over on one side. And roll over on the other side. I'm going to scrunch it up in the center and take this 6-inch piece. And we're going to do the same as we did with the last bow. We're just going to glue it in place. Yeah, maybe 6 inches was a little too long. Ooh, that's hot. Don't do what I do. Use something to hold it so you don't burn yourself. I don't know if I'd know what it was like to do any crafting without a second-degree burn. Okay, and I'm going to put a little drop of glue in the back so it doesn't go anywhere. And a little one in the front. But there's your shoe bow. And like I said, if you use wire, it's going to fluff up. And these ones, depending on how wide you get this ribbon, and you can get it really wide, especially at Christmas time, this is the easiest way in the world to make the bow for a wreath for outside or on your windows. But, yeah, there's your shoe bow. This one's really good for a long package or on any kind of wreath or even in the tree. Super easy to make. Okay, this is another one where you cut a lot of pieces. You want 2 12-inch long, 2 9-inch long, 2 6-inch long, 2 3-inch long, and 1 4-inch. The 12, 9, 6, and 3, you want to dovetail the ends. You also need a chenille stem. And of course scissors to cut it. Okay, I've got them all cut, and you can see they're all dovetailed at the end. So what you want to do is you want to take your 2 12-inch, and then the 2 9-inch. And it's actually easier if you fold these in half so that you can get them all centered. And you just want to keep repeating. With all of these until you've got them all stacked up. Okay, and this is the 4-inch piece. We're leaving that separated. Or separate. Now you want to scrunch it all together. And give it a good twist. And we're just going to use this to cover the center. And you'll be gluing that in the back. And I've got the chenille stem on either side so that it can be used to go into a wreath or into a centerpiece or however you want it, or on a package. And I'm just going to glue this. And this center 4-inch one is just to cover the chenille stem on the front. And you can add more if you want. You don't really have to. Nobody's going to see it. Okay, now all you're going to do is fluff the top. And since this is wired ribbon, it's going to stay up the way you want it. And I'm twisting this just a little bit the way you do the 5-minute bow. And this one I just love putting in the center of a long package. And like I said, you can cut this off or you can leave it on there. It all depends on what you're going to use it for. And this is wired, so you can play with it as much as you want. Okay, and there's the first 4 bows for this video. And if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.